like to join BCAC or you owe dues for this year, even though we're towards the end, it's $10 for the rest of the year, which is 1 month. But if you want to join for January for next year, I can take your money in advance and note that you've paid for 2025. It pays for the meeting, the coffee, us gathering guests, doing projects. So your $10 really goes a long way. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. We do have a guest speaker tonight, so we're kind of trying to zip along here. That was the treasurer's report. Law enforcement, I only see the San Jose Police Department here tonight, but of course they're very important to us. So I'm going to invite Council Member David Cohen up first to introduce our new captain for the area.
Good evening. First, I just wanted to announce, you've probably seen the announcement. We hired a new police chief last month in San Jose, and he will be here at the meeting next month. And so we'll introduce him in December. You'll get a chance to see him and he'll talk to you about the things he's working on. But as a result of his hire as police chief, he has now staffed up all of the positions in the city that were vacant and moved people around. So we have a new police captain here in what's called the Foothill Division, which is eastern part of the city, east of 680, all the way down from Evergreen up to the Milpitas border. And so our new captain is Captain Max Zuniga. He is over here, and I'm going to let him come up and introduce himself to all of you. But welcome, Max Zuniga.
Good evening, everybody. How are you guys doing today? Thank you. So my name is Macedonio Zuniga. I'm a longtime resident of the city of San Jose. I'm born and raised here in the city, and I actually live in District 8. And my kids went to school out here. They're products of St. John Vianney. So a little bit about myself, like I said, is I'm a resident of the city of San Jose. I've been on the department for about 22 years. And some of the different assignments that I've had is, after being assigned to patrol for about 3 years, I was a K-9 officer for the next five years of my career. Immediately from there, I went to the merge team. I was in merge for the next 4 years. I promoted, and then from there I came back to patrol, and I was actually the supervisor out in this area on midnights. I was out in the Foothill Division for about another 2 years, and then I went and I was assigned to the robbery unit. I was in robbery for about 2 years. Got another promotion, and then I became the lieutenant in special operations, working all of the crimes from street crimes to the low-level narcotics to actually being the lieutenant of our violent crime enforcement team. I was there for about a year, and for the past 2 years, I've been assigned to internal affairs. Probably one of the most important units in the organization. As you guys are well aware, because that unit truly holds the standards and expectations of our community members to ensure that our department members are abiding by department policies and community expectations. And with that being said, is now I'm your division captain. And with that is, having been a resident of this community, I have an understanding of what it's like to be living in this community, to have children that are attending schools in this community, and family members in this community, and what the expectations are from our community members. And with that being said, is I truly want you guys to understand is that when you reach out to me, I'll be ensure that to ensure that we're out here, we're collaborating to ensure that we are abiding by our community expectations. Is there any questions for me? Thank you. And with that being said, is I'm going to bring up one of the captains that works for me, Captain Mueller, and he's going to have some. I'm sorry, Lieutenant Mueller, and he's going to have some statistics for you guys for this general area.
Well, me, I'll take the extra pay. That's fine.
Yeah.
I know, right? Look at that. You guys all heard it. You're all my witnesses. Let's make this happen. So, good evening. My name is Lieutenant Tom Muller. I've been spending at least one other time. And then I am in the Foothill Division as well. Not as important as Max over here, but I do oversee this area and a lot of the things that go on. I did run some stats for last month. I did October 1 through 31, just to kind of see what was going on. And I looked at the area of probably up to over to Toyon, out to down to Penitentiary Creek, and then kind of isolated more around this area. I didn't do it the vast area as I was talking to Linda about where you guys all are. But what I did find is that there's not a lot of crime going on in here. We had 120 events. Of those, 20 of them were false alarms over at Noble Elementary, which I do believe we talked to them about trying to get their alarms working a little bit better. 30 of those CAT events, we call them, that we track, were self-initiated activity, whether they were officers making car stops, pedestrian stops, just doing foot patrols or premise checks and trying to see what's going on. There were 17 like welfare checks. So that means people are probably calling in. They saw someone that looked like they needed help or needed assistance. There was one, the biggest thing was the vandalism. There was one vandalism case last month, and it was kind of an isolated incident. Someone had 2 of their vehicles in a driveway that were actually vandalized. So that was probably more of an isolated against them because they did hit both cars, as opposed to if we see like a serial vandalizing case, they'll go down the whole street and they'll smash windows, but that isn't that. I even pulled up, I'm like, well, how come no burglaries are coming up? Because we've had a lot of burglaries, like residential citywide, but this area seems to be isolated from that, which is nice. And that was about it. So there was nothing that jumped out. No really violent crimes against person for the month of October. The number of events was up probably about 30 from the month before, but nothing that really jumped out as troublesome. So I thank you guys for being involved. I thank you guys for being here. I thank you guys for calling and reporting things, because without you guys letting us know what's going on, we can't get out here and help. And as I talked to Mr. Santos here, we're going to talk to our friends here at the sheriff's office and see if we can't work on some of the street racing stuff that's going on too. There was one instance that the sideshow activity was called in. Citywide, that's hit or miss too, as to if we have people in the city or from outside the city that come down and decide to do that sideshow activity, which is none of us like. And so it's a huge issue that we are working on a citywide basis. Are there any questions I can answer that you guys might have? Yes. It depends on what part of Toyota it was, because I may not have gone down far enough on my search. But I don't recall the event you're talking about on that one. So I'll have to look something up for you and maybe get back to you on the next meeting on that one. The biggest thing is just to be aware of your surroundings. Try not to go to the ATM, middle of the night, and try and when there's people around. And then, you can always go into the bank too. I mean, if they don't know what you're doing, if there's a lot of people around, just kind of look around and see if anyone's kind of watching you. And then even if you're leaving the area, just, of course, I am a police officer. My wife thinks I'm crazy, but she's like, "What are you looking at?" I'm, "Oh, nothing." Yeah, I'm always looking around, right? And just trying to be aware of who's around you, and and if you see something that's suspicious, call us and let us come. If you think someone's following you, call us and let us come and try and help you.
You got Do you mind if I add to that? So I was at a community meeting last week, and this is one of the most important things that I can advise is these individuals are opportunists, right? Half the time, I'm included in this is I have my head buried in my phone because I'm paying attention to my phone, or I'm not paying attention to my surroundings. It's more important than ever that we are paying attention to our surroundings. When you go to the ATMs, look up in the mirrors, see what's there. When you drive out, see if there's any cars. If you're going onto your street and you're driving home and you have this concern and you see a car that's like, nah, this doesn't make any sense. There shouldn't be any cars. Drive further, drive away, see how long that car is following you. Go to a well-lit area. And if not, call the police, drive the police to the police department, and then you'll see if someone's following you, right? But more important is look in your mirrors, use your mirrors, pay attention to the different lights and everything else to see what's going on and be aware of your surroundings, to Lieutenant Muller's point. Does that make sense? Yeah, so we always got to be aware of what's going on and have our head on a swivel now more than ever, because sometimes we're distracted by so many different factors that these individuals are just going out and they're saying they're not paying attention, and then they're going over there. Even for us, right, as police officers, when we're coming out to the district, what we don't want is everybody knows our schedules, but what we really don't want is we don't want individuals to know these are the same paths. So when we come out to district, we'll take different paths. We'll take the freeway, we'll take the streets. I mean, there's from the police department down out to Berryessa, I can name probably around 10 different ways that I can get out here. What I don't want is predictability. So these opportunists can figure out where the police are at what time, and what we're actually doing, right? We try to be as unpredictable as possible. Go ahead, ma'am.
I know you actually rear-ended, when I was driving on, Mayberry Road, right down there. So this is the car that was standing behind me, but I don't know what happened, so I just was like doing 50%. It came up, and I didn't see this coming, so they hit my car. I first I got a flat tire, and I was trying to see what happened, but then I saw them go back. It comes, the car off the right lane, so right, and it just flat. So what do I do in a situation like that?
Okay, so what it sounds like from what you're describing, it's a hit and run. So what you got to do immediately is pull over and call the police, right? And then that way, what we can do is, one is we can get medical attention to you. Two is the officers can respond, and then we can try to get some license plate information. If you turn around, you can see it. Don't follow them, right? But what you got to try to do is just pull over and see if you can get a license plate. Then what we'll do is like what the Lieutenant Muller was saying is our officers will respond depending on the area. We will try to get, we'll do a canvas of the area to look for technology, for cameras that are out there, and maybe they can pick up a vehicle description. That's the other thing, is if you can't get a license plate, get a vehicle description, get a color, get the type of make, the type of model, all that type of information. And maybe in addition, if the windows aren't tinted out, if you can get a general description of the driver and the direction of these individuals that they fled, because if the car is sufficiently damaged and inoperable, they'll pull over, they'll leave. And then what we can do is when our officers are circulating in the area, they can find the car, impound it, and then we can do follow-up based on that. Yep. Yes, sir.
Concerns that obviously the head count police department, and you're losing attrition at the senior level if you're fire, but you're bringing up academy classes. How is the head count in the future getting higher or holding?
Well, it's no secret that recruitment and retention are a problem, not only here in San Jose, but throughout the nation. Our recruiting unit is doing a phenomenal job trying to keep up with these officers. In the meantime, the future is technology. We really have to leverage technology hold up to get the recruitment numbers. And that's why what we're saying is it's more important than ever that you guys are calling these in so that we can leverage the statistics that are out there, so we can leverage the officers and send them out to specific areas. We're using cameras, we're using technology by statistics, and then a bunch of different programs within the department to try to leverage the our retention problems that we're facing, right? That's just, unfortunately, it's a grim reality of everything that's going on in this country with police officers and public service as a whole.
Small, of course, big area, fast response time, low curb out. Good job.
Thank you.
Except the one that's in downtown.
That- That's the only police station that we have at the department. We have a substation down on the south side of town. And that's off of off of Great Oaks Boulevard, right? But where you're gonna find police officers, but don't be afraid of just calling 911. If you feel that you're being followed, call 911. And you give them the direction that you're traveling, give them your vehicle description, tell them what's going on, and then officers will respond to your location. They'll tell you to pull over in a well-lit area, a shopping center, a gas station, somewhere where there's a large amount of community, a fire station to help you out.
Well, first of all, thank you. And I'm particularly excited about our new captain because just like me, he's got an engineering degree, so he's good at analytical thinking and it'll be great. I wanted to just clarify one other thing too, because our district is split in half. We have two police captains, and I want to make sure for those of you who live east of 680, this is the police captain. We also have the central division, everything west of 680 in District 4 is a different captain. We have a new captain there as well. His name is Ali Miri. We'll try to figure out a way to get him introduced as well. But for those of you who are on the other side of 680, and for the schools and everything on the other side of 680, that's the division that would be responding. Just wanted to make sure everyone understood that as well. And we have a new Captain Miri over there.
All right, that's great. Thank you so much. We're here tonight to honor Veterans Day. So as patriotic as I could be tonight. And we do have the Boy Scouts from St. Victor's, and they will be bringing the colors up. And then we will have Mr. Dick Santos will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And so if you will, they have their own music, so they're going to be ready to go, right? You want to say something?
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the presentation of the colors and remain standing for our national anthem. Color Guard, parade the colors.
Home that's really out of him. Longer, he's not in that position. And he's going to come up and talk to us and things and issues with veterans. And is Maria coming with you or she did the moral support?
My name is Dr. Goodwin, and I'm the founder and chief executive officer of the Homeless Veteran Emergency Housing Facility. Maria is a training coordinator for the company. She trains new case managers coming in. She is one of the best employees that we have there. Over 60,000, over 60,000 homeless veterans. My company has served. Let me kind of just back up a little bit and give you some history. At one time in my life, I was a homeless veteran myself. I was in People's Park over 30 years ago, around with drugs. I ended up being homeless and with some other veterans there that was homeless. And so I went into a federal program, government program, Menlo Park, VA. And at that particular time in the 90s, in the beginning of the 90s, we had over 270,000 homeless veterans on the streets of America. And I'd like to get into that in a minute and tell you how that happened. And it was a lot of homeless veterans, and they didn't have a place to go after they got medical treatment, after they got drug and alcohol treatment, post-traumatic stress treatment. They became homeless again. And the fact of the matter is, so, and I like to put it like this: God gave me a vision. And I get into that. God gave me a vision, and I started my nonprofit to want to help other homeless veterans because the park that I was in, I'm pretty sure a lot of people either know about UC Berkeley. It's a park down there. People's Park was a big issue months ago about that, and I was homeless in that park. I was born in Berkeley. I went in the military from Berkeley. I ended up being homeless in Berkeley in the park. But anyway, I started my nonprofit in the 97, 98, and we brought in over 60,000 homeless veterans. I'm talking about providing housing and case managers, services, drug and alcohol treatment, send them into post-traumatic stress disorder programs. And then out of that number, we put 755 veterans, homeless veterans, in their own apartment. And I need to thank Linda, right? And Sharon, they came, Sharon, right? I just want to get the name right. I just heard about it. But anyway, they come out to the facility and give veterans the cards and, you know, holidays and speak to them. And that facility right now, I'm relocating. I was in Menlo Park VA Hospital for about 11 years. They gave me a building to start my program in 1994 or something like that. Anyway, and I was there for 11 years. And then the building had seismic, so I had to put everything in storage. And then I found 10 Kurt. I had real estate people finding a place to relocate to put veterans. And so at one particular time, we had 150 veterans out at 10 Kurt. And from that 150 every month going in, and then I end up getting cemetery contracts. Listen to this. I ended up getting cemetery contracts to put homeless veterans to work. They was coming back from Afghanistan, coming back from Iraq without no jobs. And the government gave me contracts where the veterans would inscribe headstones. Believe this. Over a period of 6 years, they end up giving, I started a new program called Veterans Employment Agency. And with a 6-year time period, they end up giving that new company $8 million to put 42 veterans to work in national cemeteries around the United States. Because it was coming back, they didn't have any employment skills coming out the military, and they made good money, and everybody was happy. And so after about keeping that company open for about 8 years, you know, then they renewed the contracts. It wasn't as lucrative as they was in the beginning. And so people was able to buy homes and buy, you know, get out of debt. So we've done a lot for homeless veterans. Now, let me kind of back up a little bit. I ran away from home at 15 years old and joined the military. And that was in the 60s. So I ran away from home, and my mother didn't know where I was at. I'm just going to make this brief. You know, I had my own little bedroom. She come in there to wake me up for school, and I was gone. I had already enlisted in the military, took the test and passed it. And I'm blessed. I believe that if I never went in the military, my life would have been totally different. And I'm thankful that I did go in the military. I'm thankful that I'm a veteran. I'm thankful that I'm able to help other homeless veterans put their lives together. And it's a blessing. And, you know, I encourage all young men, whether they're in school or in, you know, in college or on their way, they undecided what they want to do in life. You know, my mission is to encourage them to go into the military. The military make young men immediately. So, and I think that, oh, let me kind of back up again. So on the news today, you seen this veteran that was 103 years old, I think. Is that correct? Anybody see the news today? Well, I have a guy in my program that's 96 years old. I have a homeless veteran in my program that's 96 years old. And he's been with us about, what, 10 years? How many years? Around 10. So, you know, and I'm proud. I'm proud. You know, in 4 years, he'll be 100. So I'm proud to be able to serve veterans like that. I mean, the fact of the matter is, homeless don't discriminate. And I'm gonna kind of get off this if she want to talk. Homeless don't discriminate. They don't care what nationality you are. They don't care what age you are. They don't care what kind of education you got. Once homeless strike, it strikes anybody. And so my job, my mission for the last 30 years is to help homeless veterans. And with that, I'm blessed. You want to say something? This is Maria. Okay. And I'm gonna, you know, and I was asleep. She woke me up Urban, Linda and Sharon, all these people waiting on you. So I kind of hope that we have more programs for veterans. The Department of Veteran Affairs is doing a lot for veterans. And, at one time, my program was the transitional housing program. Now they have the HUD-VASH program where Department of Veteran Affairs and HUD go together. And a veteran can get well, you did a lot of this stuff. A one-bedroom apartment for what? Probably what? 1,300, 1,400? That's amazing, isn't it? What the government make it possible for a veteran can get an apartment, a nice one-bedroom apartment for $1,400 because that person is a veteran. So, and the government is doing a lot for veterans, and a lot of people don't know that. And I'm proud to be a veteran, and I'm sure, how many veterans we got in there tonight? One, I figure you, 1, 2, 3. Praise God, right? That we made it back with all our faculties. You want to say something? Maria's been with me over going on close to 3.5, 4 years. Very smart. She's the best person we got in the company, and she trained other people. Yes, sir. Go ahead. Go ahead.
We have veterans.
Yes.
How can we get them out of the creation into housing and employment?
Outreach. That's what we do. Okay, good question. Can I add a piece to that? How did I say this? Let me say this. Okay, I'm trying to be diplomatic, real. It's kind of like, you got a lot of veterans that's homeless in different locations, and some veterans is addicted to alcohol, some of them addicted to drugs, and some of them is not ready to go into a structured environment. Even though they want the help, but they're not ready to go into an environment where, it's kind of like where they can't leave and go as they choose. And it's discipline. I mean, it's kind of like, we take care of them. It's just like my environment, they can't be AWOL. Everybody had their own room and showers and everything. You had case managers. We had several case managers. We had doctors. We had social workers coming in. Government, I'm talking about employed people coming in and seeing the veterans on a daily basis. Some veterans don't want that type of environment. They want a shelter type of environment where they could just go sleep 2 nights, leave, and don't come back for another 6 days. But I don't know if that's answering your questions, but the VA is doing a lot of outreach. They're making contact with these veterans. Some of them want to continue to drink. And the reason why I can say this, because I've been doing this for 25 years. I know. We have a whole outreach team go to different locations. Some veterans want to continue to drink. Some of them want to continue to do drugs until they're ready to get some help. And some of them is service connected. You guys know what I'm talking about, service connected. They have an income. It could be 100% service connected. It could be 30%. It could be 50%. They have money coming in, and they take the money, and and they rather stay in a homeless encampment, either in a tent or even in a broken down car, abandoned building. And, they take the money that they get from the government being service connected and buy their alcohol with it, And so a lot of, and some of veterans have mental health, in the mental health, they don't want to be told what to do. They just want their freedom. Do that make sense to people right now? Yeah, I got some business cards. Some of them, it's kind of like, and they come back with issues. I think I was telling Linda and Sharon today, I'm gonna finish this. A lot of veterans, coming in from Iraq and Afghanistan, they went there. When they come back, their family don't even recognize who they are anymore. And a lot of them have girlfriends. A lot of them have wives, and they come back, and they, being in a war zone, dealing with that type of issues in their life, they completely come back another person. But a lot of people don't know that because they're not affiliated with the VA system. But I am. I deal with the VA. I deal with the VA. She deals with the VA. You know. Yes. We're relocating because that's a good question too. Let me tell you. Okay, the PTO home. Did you know that was a home for women? Okay, and Barry Swinson owned that property. Everybody know who Barry Swinson is? I leased that property for Barry Swinson for 12 years. I paid $60,000 a month for that property. I'm not sitting up here bragging. I paid it was over close to 5 acres of land on that property. It had 8 buildings. It had a swimming pool. We never put water in the swimming pool because we figured somebody come back drunk and then it's on my watch and they drown. You know what I'm talking about? So, but the fact of the matter is 8 buildings on that property. And that property was once a woman's retirement home. And so what happened was it was a big lawsuit. This is before I end up with the property. It was a big lawsuit and they moved the residents, the women, to another place, and that place stayed empty for 6 years. You know what I'm talking about? Am I right? Am I right? You've been out there. Sharon, you've been out there. That place stayed empty for 6 years. Now watch this. I was on the VA grounds during the time when all that stuff was happening. I didn't even know about 10 Kurt. I didn't even know about that property. So they tells me I was on the VA hospital grounds. My program was on the VA grounds in Menlo Park. I was there at least 9, 10 years. And they said, Urban, you got to relocate because this building has seismic issues. If it was even a light earthquake, it was built in the 40s. I'm talking about in Menlo Park. So we packed up and put everything in storage. And then I had the real estate people out looking for property. So they seen 10 Kurt and they said, Irvin, there is a huge facility and 10 Kurt in San Jose. And let's go look at it. Now, Barry Swinson them bought that property. They wanted to sell it for 10 million. Me and we had a lot of money coming in from cemetery work. And we were in a position to buy that property, but instead of selling it for 10 million, they went up to 15 million. So that knocked us out of the box from buying the property. But excuse me, that knocked us out of the box from buying the property. So I end up paying, now this is a business. I end up paying $820,000, $820,000 every month for 12 years. So they did better leasing me the property than selling me the property. Is anybody listening to me right now? I'm a nonprofit. I'm a nonprofit. And so they didn't sell it to me. Now the county stepped in and bought the property. She asked a very good question. The county stepped in and bought the property for $14,600,000. Now, that property, they had electrical boxes that was built in 1965. We had roofing problems in there. We had cast iron pipes that was in the ground where roots had got into the cast iron pipes. Anybody know what I'm talking about when I say cast iron? I don't expect any women here to know about it. I'm talking about old pipes that just cracked, right? Am I correct? So the water system, the sprinkler system, it wouldn't hold any water no more. Water was running all over the place. It's just ridiculous. So many problems, but I kept paying $60,000 a month. We put a Band-Aid on that program when it should have been a major operation. We had 150 veterans going in and out. Like I said, it's 16. How many veterans do you think come through 10 Kurt? About 8,000? About 8,000 veterans coming and going, living there. We provided food, case manager, social workers. We had a doctor on the premises, everything. It was very nice. We kept it up nice. But the fact of the matter is here, we should have had a major operation come in and just redo everything. But now the property's empty. I think we only got 3 veterans there. Hey, my contract with the VA was up September 29th. September 29th. And another program called Abode. Anybody know a program called Abode? You know about that? Huh? You heard about Abode? Oh, you in the back. You know what I'm talking about? Okay. Did you know that they was there? Okay, at 10 Kirk. So the veterans, when I left, how many veterans? When, you know, it was a government contract and it was a year left on the contract and they wanted to give the contract to somebody, Irvin, okay, so you've been here long enough, and so now it's only about what? How many veterans? 3? 3 veterans and it's just a shelter. Now, let me say this before. I'm not slamming no program. I've been doing this 25 years, not bragging. God has blessed me. He's blessed the work. He's put good people working with me. I didn't do this by myself. Good people like Maria and other. Anybody know Hector Guerrero here? Know a person named Hector? He's a political person. He was the one of the lead case managers. We had 6, 7 case managers. We had doctors on staff. We had nurses on staff. These are government people with degrees. And we did a fantastic job helping people. Now it's only about, what, you say 3? It's only 3 veterans here out of 150 that we had going in and out. So where are the veterans? I think you asked that. You said they're in creeks and everywhere else, right? Some of them want to be homeless again. Some of them choose to be homeless again. So, you know, I don't know what, you know what? Everybody want me to like open another program. This would be the 3rd one. I opened one in Menlo Park Hospital. I opened 10 Kirk. And now that they've making this a shelter, let me say this and everything. I was in Washington. I had a DVD that I was appointed to Secretary Shinseki Advisory Committee, a 4-star general. Did you know about Secretary Shinseki? Anybody here know about the secretary? He number 6 Department of Veteran Affairs. He's the secretary. So I was appointed to his advisory committee for homeless vets. That was a very good experience for me. I mean, I was proud to be on a general's advisory committee. And what was I saying there? Secretary Shinseki Advisory Committee. I forgot, I lost my train of thought. But anyway, any other questions?
Is that facility going to be closing? Is one of the reasons because it is not safe, the buildings are not safe?
They're doing some remodeling there now. They're doing some remodeling there, but my time was up September 29th, and the county came in and bought the property, and they had major inspections. So the county, we're talking about the county. So they coming in and putting in new heaters, they redoing the roofs, they're doing the water lines, they dug up all the pipes on that property, all the pipes, it's almost 5 acres of land. It's 7 buildings on that property. And it's water, you know, wasn't no water coming out the sprinkler system. It's just, it was a mess. It was a mess. And the fact of the matter is, I said, okay, I told them I can't afford to do that. So the county came in and bought the property for $14,600,000. And it's only 3 veterans there now. So I think the question you asking, is it going to be, a good question is, let me try to add something to yours. Is it going to be a home for veterans? Is that what we're saying here? I don't think it's going to be. I think veterans could come stay there if they need a place to live. But mine was for veterans and veterans only. Mine was named the Homeless Veteran Emergency Housing Facility. Only for veterans. And a lot of people, I was telling Linda and Sharon, I was in, no, I know why I said that. I was in a committee meeting with General Shinseki, and it was about 8, 9 other people that I didn't even know. And we were talking about homeless. And I said, I made a statement that I don't care about nobody else being homeless. I only care about veterans being homeless. And man, what did I say that for? Is anybody listening to me right now? And they try to ring me, man. They wanted to like, God. Let me repeat what I said. I'm in Washington in advisory committee for a general. We got all these people in Washington sitting around. And a conversation came up about homeless. And I made a statement. I don't care about nobody being homeless. I only care about veterans being homeless. Urban, don't you know you're discriminating? You should be concerned about anybody that's homeless. I said, my mission is to help veterans. And man, he said, Urban, can't you think beyond that? Veterans is not the only, I said, to me, veterans is the only thing that matters to me, but that's my mission. So then it was a break and he came and apologized, but I still feel the same way. I still feel the same way, and, I wish that people that's homeless can get their lives together, but you know what? My concern is homeless veterans. Did that make sense to you guys? Praise God. Any other questions? But I'm gonna answer your question and leaving. That place is for anybody that's homeless. Am I right, Maria? Anybody that's homeless. Maria just turned in some veterans files today, huh? And that she knows more about the coming and going of the agency. I've been gone for about what, a month now, a month and 10 days? Yeah, but you could ask Maria, come on. You want to answer some questions? Okay, all right, okay. But other than that, I'm pretty sure veterans can come and go if they're homeless. And you want a business card, sir? Anybody else would like a card? Sure. I'm still working with veterans, but I'm just not doing it there. We're scouting out for some new property. So oh, where am I? Where can we show it at? I know, but what, do we have a screen to show it on? Oh, that's cool. Didn't you guys get a chance to see the general and you get a chance to see me introduce? The screen right here? Okay, good. Let me stand right here. Oh, that's pretty cool. All right. Yeah. Huh? It's very interesting. See, it's very interesting. I get a chance to introduce the general and he became, I think, the number 6 Secretary of Department of Veterans Affairs for the Veterans Administration in the United States. Huh? Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
This from the top?
This guy. Hey, thank you. This guy right here, his name is Pete Doherty.
Oh, hi.
Very important person, and he was over all the programs in the United States.
I must say, this is a group that does remarkably well. We asked you to come back and you came back. It is really a pleasure for me to be here with you, and it is a distinct pleasure for me. I'm going to introduce a gentleman who is then going to introduce our secretary. I'm going to introduce a gentleman named Irvin Goodwin. Many of you know Irvin. He's a member of the VA's Advisory Committee on Homeless Veterans, but Irwin sort of represents why we're here today. He's a person who had his own struggles, but he's a person who also has taken that struggle that he's had personally and helped lead that in a positive direction for so many more. So if I could, let me have both Irwin Goodwin and the secretary come forward and we'll begin.
Now we're speaking to 3,000 people in Washington in that arena right there. Small crowd. Mr. Doherty has introduced me as Irvin Goodwin. I am a former homeless veteran myself. Just about 15 years ago, I was homeless in People's Park in Berkeley, and the VA came out and was doing outreach for homeless veterans. And I was one of the homeless veterans that the VA made contact to. So with the help of the VA today, I am here. It's a very honor for me to be here today. I have created a 150-bed housing facility for homeless veterans. And we've been open since 2009 years, and we brought in over 5,700 homeless veterans off the street. For health care, VA services, and transitional housing. Our motto in that building is never deprive a homeless veteran of hope. It might be all that he or she has. This summit today is hope for our homeless veterans. Look at the turnout. This summit today is hope for our homeless veterans. And saying that, today I have the honor as a former homeless veteran to introduce our nation's Secretary of Department of Veteran Affairs, the Honorable Eric K. Shinseki, retired U.S. Army General. Eric K. Shinseki was nominated by President Barack Obama on December 7th, 2008, to serve as the Secretary for the United States Department of Veteran Affairs. His nomination was confirmed by the Senate January 20th, 2009, and he was sworn in as the 7th Secretary of Veteran Affairs on January 21st, 2009. General Secretary served as the Chief of Staff of the United States Army from 1999 until June the 11th, 2003, and he retired from active duty on August 1st, 2003. During his tenure, he initiated the Army Transformation Campaign to address both the emergent strategic challenge of the early 21st century and the need for cultural and technological change in the United States Army. Shinseki holds a Bachelor of Science degree from the U.S. Military Academy at West Point, a master's degree from Duke University, and is a graduate of the National War College. General Shinseki has been awarded the Defense Distinguished Service Medal, the Distinguished Service Medal of Legion of Merit with Oak Leaf Clusters, Bronze Service Medal with V device with 2 Oak Leaf Clusters, Purple Heart Oak Leaf Cluster, Defense Material Service Medal with 2 Oak Leaf Clusters, Air Medal, Parachute Badge, Ranger Tab, Joint Chief of Staff Identification Badge, and the Army Identification Badge. Not only is Secretary Shinseki is a great patriot, but most important to us today, he is a great leader with vision for a better future for our veterans. Please join me in welcoming Secretary Shinseki. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Good afternoon. Ah, you got it all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Well, Irvin, thank you for that kind introduction. Unfortunately, I don't think my mom would believe it.
You know, yours is a remarkable story of strength and faith and determination.
He's just gonna
Your story.
introduce a lot of
And so
people
I
in the
would like
crowd,
to-
like people from Washington, so we can turn that off now. I appreciate it. But
I'd like to thank you
that was a good
for
point.
the
Highlighted my life.
example you
Be with
provide all of
a
us,
four-star general. You know what I'm talking about?
homeless
So
and
he
non-homeless.
just introduced you some people. Hey, thank you. So I'm glad that I was able to show that. And that was in 2000. And he said 5,000 people. I introduced 5,000 homeless veterans. Now it's 16,000. So God has been good and God has blessed the company. May God bless our veterans. Any other questions? You want a business card? Huh? Anybody else want? Hey, thank you. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. Here you go. I'm right here with you, okay?
Okay, well, that was a whole lot of information. There was also an article in the Mercury News about the homeless veterans, so it's really it's ridiculous. They go and serve our country and we bring them back home and say thanks. Okay, bye. So it's good to get information and find out people are caring and trying to figure out ways to do things. So I have a few announcements to make. Our next general membership meeting is next month, December 9th. We will have musical entertainment by the Berryessa School District students. And we will be meeting our new police chief, Chief Paul Joseph. He'll be here that night. And then we have a BCAC board meeting next Monday. Are we meeting at our regular place? Okay. And then we also I got a message from Stephen No about the tree planting. Do you want to say something about that? Right here. Great. Okay. Yeah. I got your flyer, but I'll have Ty send it out. I don't think you got the flyer, did you? I just saw it tonight. So, yeah. So it's right here in our backyard. If you want to help plant the trees, I don't know where they're going exactly. And then next, I need to ask for nominations for people who would like to be on our Berryessa Citizens Advisory Council Board. I will not be president next year. So if anybody wants to take that, that's just open. And if anybody would like to, or you want some more information about that, you could see me right after the meeting. But we will have elections for the new board members or board members at the December meeting. So I'm just asking tonight to be thinking about if you would like to run, if you want some questions about what we do. We basically plan events and we plan the meetings and speakers and stuff. So, okay, let's see. I think I could. Oh, thank you for the cookies tonight. Where's Nancy tonight even? Oh, was she not available? But her husband brought the cookies. I don't know if there's any left. The kids really kind of cleaned out one whole platter before. But there's some coffee and some cookies, maybe a cookie or two. And let me see if I could say your name. Haikayeta. No, not even close. Thank you so much for the cookies. They were beautiful platters, 2 platters of cookies. So that's all I have, I do believe. Let me think. Okay, that's it. So we have time to chit chat a little bit and have cookies, but if they're left, and coffee. Sure, there's some coffee. All right. All right. I will dismiss you then from this meeting.